All right, this story right here is wild, man. I mean, this story is very indicative of just how broken our country is, and in particular in this instance, how broken the Republican Party is. So Channel 4 News reports this. Revealed Trump campaign secret data on gunman's family. The family of Trump's would-be assassin, Thomas Crooks, was among millions of voters profiled by Trump's 2016 presidential campaign. The owner of the rifle used to shoot at Donald Trump had been identified by the former president's campaign as a strong Republican, likely gun owner, and hunter, as revealed today by Channel 4 News. In 2016, the Trump campaign built a database profiling millions of voters in key battleground states, including the family of Trump's would-be assassin, Thomas Crooks. It found that both the parents of Thomas Crooks were very likely to be gun owners and shared other gun-related lifestyle indicators. This database was first obtained and revealed by Channel 4 News in 2020. The program can now reveal the information was compiled as part of a secretive project aiming to identify millions of gun owners in America who could be targeted with pro-gun rights messages in the lead-up to the 2016 election campaign. On Saturday, Thomas Crooks, 20, attempted to murder former President Trump at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. It has emerged that the AR-15 style semi-automatic rifle he used was legally purchased months earlier by his father, Matthew, 53. The family is cooperating with the investigating authorities. So in other words, Trump's 2016 campaign bombarded the Crooks family with pro-Second Amendment and pro-gun ads. And then, look, it is possible. It's certainly possible. One of the reasons homie bought this gun that he did, Thomas Crooks' dad, is because he saw an ad for a gun sent him by the 2016 Trump campaign. Then he goes and buys the gun. And then that gun is used, fast forward to, that gun is used by that guy's son to try to assassinate Donald Trump. Can you imagine? Can you imagine ruthlessly bombarding people with pro-gun ads and then one of those people from the families you were bombarding with those messages tries to kill you? Can you imagine? By the way, will this make them rethink even a tiny bit of their agenda? Not remotely. In fact, they're struggling with the RNC this week because there's a rule in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where it's like you're allowed to carry a gun even within the like soft perimeter, as they call it, of the RNC. Well, then, okay, every Tom, Dick, and Harry in Milwaukee can walk up packing heat, and what's the Secret Service supposed to do? What are the law enforcement officials supposed to do? Just let everybody show a gun when a week before somebody tried to assassinate the former president and just, hey, that's what the rules are. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Look, I want to be clear. I am a gun owner. I am. I was raised in a gun family. My dad was a hunter. He taught me how to shoot guns when I was probably too young to even learn how to shoot guns. I'm not anti-gun. You know? I believe in responsible Americans who want to own a gun, who can prove that they can. They should be able to get a gun. But that's not what we're talking about here now, is it? It's not. First of all, we need to expand our background check system to have genuine universal background checks. And the other thing is, let's have strong criteria on who can get a gun. I'm talking, if there's anything in your record that's even 2% maybe an issue, sorry, you forfeit the right. There should be licensing. There should be testing. It should be rigid and strict. As I told you guys, if I owned a gun store and that fucking psycho who shot at President Trump walked in the door, on looks alone, I'm going, sorry, dog, you ain't getting a gun. You look like every school mass shooter I've ever seen in my entire life put together in one person. That's what you look like. I'm not giving you a gun. I'm not selling you a gun. What are you, insane? I know what you're going to do with this shit. Now, by the way, like we said, this guy's dad actually bought the gun and he stole the gun from his dad, which leads to the next point. Turns out gun regulations are actually smart and good. Why? In some states, they have rules that you can't, if you own a gun, you can't just leave it hanging out in your home. That it's got to be locked up and hidden in your own home. So if Thomas Crooks' dad had a gun or had guns, but they were hidden and locked up in his own house, and Thomas Crooks didn't know the fucking passcode to get in, well, then maybe this could have all been avoided. Because certainly, Thomas Crooks does not look like the kind of guy who can find a connection on the black market so he can buy a gun. That guy probably can barely open his mouth to speak to get an order in at McDonald's. He looks that socially awkward, right? So what are we doing here? Gun regulations work. They make sense. Do you know, guys, and this is an older statistic, probably from about 2016, we have 32,000 gun deaths a year in this country. That's homicides, suicides, accidents, mass shootings, every way imaginable. 32,000. I think that number is actually even higher now. I think it eclipsed 40,000 one of these recent years. Are you telling me it's not a worthy goal to try to, at the very least, cut that number in half? You're telling me with some simple policy changes, we could save 20,000 people's lives a year and not really infringe on anybody's freedoms in a serious way? Just like basic regulation type stuff? Who would say no to that? Well, it's only the NRA that would say no to it. And it's only the leadership of the NRA. Because when you poll NRA members, even they say, yeah, universal background checks are a good idea. You should be able to prove you can use a gun before you actually buy a gun. Right? So I don't know what we're doing here, but this is a wild story. Trump's own campaign in 2016 sent pro-gun ads to a family that the kid ended up trying to kill him with one of those guns. Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ. So there you have it. Wild stuff. We need universal background checks with strict rules along with it. We need a licensing system, so you have to take a test, prove you can use it. Only law-abiding Americans should be able to get guns. And then you should have strict regulations beyond that. You got to lock up your guns in your house. You got to hide them in your house. I don't know what we're doing here. We could save so many lives with basic bare minimum tweaks that really harm nobody. But nonetheless, here we are. We got psychotic loner weirdos who are attempting to assassinate the former president. And the former president was in on the fun by sending them pro-gun ads. That's insane. All right, guys. I love y'all very much. Everybody tune into Crystal Kyle and Friends this week. We got Chase Oliver, the Libertarian Party candidate for president. I'm really, really excited for that, so we'll talk to him. That'll be fun. And subscribe to the channel, man. It helps out big time. There's no reason not to do it. I deeply appreciate it if you do that. A massive thank you to everybody who supports this show on Patreon. That link's below. Remember, I don't talk to any advertisers, so you guys help fund us from the ground up. Thank you to the Patreon folks, and thank you to the people who just tip on YouTube. That also means the world through Super Chats. All right, guys. I love y'all. I'll see you tomorrow. Everybody have a great rest of your week. Hey, y'all. Do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.